What is good, YouTube? Hopefully, you're all having a good day. Yes, we are back from a little bit of a time off. We have now returned to the CW Arrowverse podcast for the first time ever. Sadly, we're not going to be talking about Arrow or any Arrow episodes in this podcast because Arrow has now finished. Unfortunately, I'm sad to announce. But joining me today is Declan from DC Central. Thanks, Declan, once again for coming on as usual.
Thanks for having me on, Chris, as always.
Yep, cool. So try to get Ben to come on. Don't know what he's doing. Maybe next week. But
You
yeah,
never know what he's doing.
yeah, I don't know. Probably doing some filming related stuff. I don't know.
I imagine, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so this podcast this week we're gonna mainly be talking about the Flash and maybe a little bit about the others. We'll see. We'll see how we get on. But yeah, this week's mainly gonna be about the Flash, and I just want to right out the bat go into the discussion. Who is the big bad for this season, for season 6 of The Flash? Because it really has not been established at all. Like, we don't know the direction this show is going. I mean, I guess we kind of have a few small ideas here and there, but there's no clear direction, unlike the previous seasons. Season 1, we had obviously Reverse Flash. Season 2, we had Zoom. Season 3, Savitar. Season 4, DeVoe. Season 5, Cicada. Season 6, no, there's no one. So what's your thoughts on this, Declan?
I think that obviously the way Eric Wallace has structured this season with his whole graphic novel 1, graphic novel 2 thing that he's been banging on about. Obviously, the first half of the season, we did have a villain. We had Bloodwork.
Yeah.
And that was its own arc, which was kind of wrapped up nicely by Crisis.
Yep.
This back half has been a bit wishy-washy in regards to the villain side of things. I don't think it's been wishy-washy in terms of overall. Like, I think overall season 6 of The Flash has been very strong.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed The Flash this season. I think in terms of the villain, for me, if I had to sort of nail down a prediction, because obviously we do know some other things, like there's some theories of obviously like characters of Red Death, and based on set photos, we know Godspeed's coming back later on.
Yeah.
And we'll talk a little bit about it later, but there was a certain villain who returned in the most recent episode, who's a pretty big one. But I actually think the main villain of the season is going to be Eve McColloch.
Oh,
Who
the
was
mirror,
obviously kind of
the mirror master. What?
the new Mirror Master.
Yeah. Okay,
Because
that's interesting.
out of all, like, because obviously she's like a part of this group that Cisco discovered of these new villains, like these new versions of villains that were teased. The one who's getting by far the most focus.
Yeah.
Like everyone else is just a typical villain of the week again, whereas Eve or Eva, which one is it?
I can't remember.
I honestly don't know. It sounds like it changes each episode, but yeah, I think that Eve, she's by far getting the most focus, and she is directly involved with the storyline with Iris, which,
Yeah.
funnily enough, the storyline with Iris being stuck in the mirror dimension is kind of the main story right now.
I guess so.
Like,
Actually, I didn't think about
so
that. It's true.
yes, like, that's kind of the main storyline going on at the moment. Like, Barry hasn't really got a major story. Like, I mean, this episode and also kind of the last one were very Barry focused, but other than them, it's been very Iris focused. Which I've enjoyed because I really like Iris as a character, and I think that Eric Wallace has been doing wonders with her character. So I think that, yeah, in terms of the villain, I think the main villain could end up being Eve McCulloch. If I had to put a prediction, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
The I like that. I actually like that you said that because I did not think about that. Like, yeah, she was established as that she's not exactly who she says she is in the previous episode before this one, but I didn't come across as her being the big bad. But now that you mentioned it, that could actually very well be the case because in my notes here, I've taken down a few names as to who could be the big bad. So I said Red Death, but there's been literally no hint towards Red Death appearing in this season so far.
No.
Reverse Flash. But the only problem with that is that we've had Reverse Flash as the main villain for essentially 1.5 seasons already. Season 1, of course, and he was kind of one of the main villains for last season as well. One of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think if they brought in Reverse Flash now as the main villain, it would literally feel exactly the same as season 5,
yeah, exactly. So
where
I,
he had to kind of come in and save the season.
yeah, exactly. And another name that I have is Godspeed, but I don't know what the apparently, like you said, like he's due to come back later on the season, but like at this point, I don't think they want to treat him as a big main villain. I don't think. I,
No.
nah.
And I think based on the comics, which I mean, I'm not majorly into the comics, but funnily enough, I have read Flash Rebirth.
Yeah, same.
Um, Godspeed isn't like I wouldn't put Godspeed as an entire season long villain. He just doesn't have that lifespan to him as a character, unless they massively expanded upon him in the show, which they could do. I just because obviously he is such a fan favorite, but I just don't know if he would be able to carry an entire season. Kind of like the problem with Cicada.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, Godspeed is really cool. Obviously, he is coming back in this season in some respects. Because they did tease him in episode 1 of this season. So he is coming back, but I just don't know if Godspeed would work. Red Death is an interesting one. I do think they'll do Red Death. I genuinely think there's a very high possibility that Red Death will be the villain of next season.
Okay.
Just because I think that obviously they set him up in season 5, like they kind of teased him, and usually that's a hint that the Flash will do that villain at some point.
Yeah.
I'll actually throw another villain suggestion at you for this season.
Okay.
I don't know if they do this now, just because I feel like it'd be a bit late to introduce them, but they could do something along the lines of the Negative Flash.
Well, they already did the Negative Flash in the first half.
Well, funnily enough, that was actually referenced as Dark Flash, not Negative Flash, and obviously Negative Flash is kind of a separate character, because there is the Negative Flash where it is Barry, but there's also another Negative Flash, a female speedster.
Okay.
Who kind of has a black suit and has black lightning and stuff.
Black lightning.
Yeah, like an actual black lightning, and so they could do that. But again, I think it's a bit too late in the season to introduce a big villain like that.
Yeah,
I genuinely think it's going to be Eve, and then we're going to have like a couple of other things going on with all these new villains showing up, and also with Godspeed coming up in the back half as well. And obviously, we'll see sort of what Jersey Reverse Flash has in the season. But yeah, I think they're going to be balancing a lot in this back half.
Interesting. Speaking of Eve, okay, this is going to be a transition over into episode 14, titled, what was it titled again? The Death of the Speed Force. Yeah. So speaking of Eve, what do you think her deal is?
I really don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure out what, because obviously she is somehow connected or somehow controlling this mirror version of Iris. Because we see that anytime she does something,
yeah, and the Iris
does it.
Yeah.
Like, she burnt her arms through the mirror, Iris's arms got burnt, and then at the end of this episode, she was, like, talking to herself, and then we saw Iris do it.
Yeah.
So they're somehow connected. See, this is what makes me think she's the main villain, because she's so ingrained in the plot right now. And with this mirror Iris also being so involved in the plot, which is technically her, again, it kind of makes me think that she's trying to, obviously, get very close to Team Flash and try to, get information on them. Like in this episode, we literally see someone like Camilla get too close to her and start to find out things. And what I like, even in this episode, like Wally, he shows up out of nowhere and it's just like, yeah, Iris is there's something up with her, so it's not right. But even Camilla, who starts to find out, she's like, that's not Iris, and then she shows up and then she's like, yeah, it's not me. Sorry, I have to find out this way. And then does she kill him?
Funny, I like that you answered that, you asked that question, because that was literally the next topic that I was gonna transition to. Is Camilla dead or trapped in the mirror dimension?
Because she shoots her with the mirror gun.
Yeah.
So that could be a way of like transferring her into the mirror dimension, or is she? Because it would feel like a bit of a waste of her character to kill her off. She's not been around that long.
That's the thing, and I feel like it'll. Yeah, I feel like it'll be weird if they killed her off in like a post-credit scene.
Yeah,
and Cisco's not there as well. So
yeah, and Cisco's not there. Like, it makes me think that maybe, because on the contrary to that, I do think that obviously we've seen a lot of castings on the Flash recently go up to regular positions. Like Chester P. Runk went up to a regular.
Yeah.
So did Allegra. Camilla didn't. She was the one who. She's like one of the new cast members who didn't. Which could be a pointer. Although, unless she's already a regular, I don't think she is.
No, she's not. I think. I was actually going to save this for later, but we'll just do this one right now. I think the reason why she probably hasn't gone on to a series regular is because I heard rumblings that apparently Caitlin and Cisco are both leaving the show. And if that's the case, then it makes sense why Camilla is not a series regular, because she's part of Cisco's story.
Yeah, I've heard that Cisco. I haven't heard about Caitlin. I've heard Cisco. Obviously, because with the, I mean, we're going through all this again with Carlos leaving the show, but like with the sort of bumping up of Chester P. Runk, or Brandon McKnight, sort of bumping him up to a regular, because him and Cisco are such similar characters, it does make me think that that would happen. And also in episode 13, um, Barry kind of puts Chester in the position of what Cisco would be doing, like getting on the comms, getting on the computers, helping him in the field, which is literally Cisco's role. Yeah, I can see why people are talking about it. I can see why that's come up again.
Yeah.
Kate, what are the speculation about Caitlin?
I actually don't. I honestly have not read into it. I just saw it somewhere. I think it was was it a video? I didn't watch the video. I just saw it on the title. I didn't watch it, but or was it a tweet? Something along those lines. I think it was a video. Yeah, something like that. I didn't
I'd be
click on it though.
shocked if the both of them left.
Yeah, I would be very. But to be honest, to be fair, Caitlin, not Caitlin, Daniel Pennebaker, who plays Caitlin, she's pregnant.
She is, yeah.
Exactly.
It's true.
It does kind of make sense why she wants to leave. Maybe if this is true, she wants to spend time
Yeah.
with her child.
Maybe that's what it is then. Maybe because obviously you didn't read into it. Maybe that was what it was. It's like an actual, real reason. She just wants to take some time off acting to raise her kid.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of child, how is Supergirl gonna work? Because we know that Melissa Benoist is pregnant.
Oh, I mean, it's funny. It kind of lines up with something that Jesse Rath said. Jesse Rath, who plays Brainiac 5.
Yep.
He said at a con a couple of weeks ago, he said that this year they only have a 3-week hiatus in between the two seasons.
Okay.
So literally a 3-week break between the filming of season 5 and season 6.
Yeah.
I'm assuming what that means is that they're trying to film as much as they possibly can
Before the
Melissa
belly.
has to go.
Yeah, before the belly shows.
Yeah, basically, so that they can have a backlog of episodes to play while she's gone
Yeah.
on maternity. So I honestly don't know, because there's only so much you can get away with on TV in regards to a character being pregnant unless you write it into the show.
Yeah.
And obviously they're not going to do that unless William's going to knock her up at some point. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I can just, I mean, I don't know what the Supergirl writers are doing this season, so maybe they will. Who knows? But as of right now, I cannot see that happening. And Melissa has to wear a pretty tight suit. That's not really going to fit for a baby bump.
Exactly.
And it's not like in the MCU with Age of Ultron when ScarJo was pregnant and they could just like CGI it. Like,
Exactly.
we know Supergirl doesn't have the best CGI. We all know that. It's just, let's not try and pretend here.
Yeah.
So I don't think they can hide that. So yeah, I think they are literally basically not having the same break they would normally have, which is about 7, 8 to 9 weeks, and they're just having a 3-week break, giving the actors a bit of time of respite, and then they're literally going back in to film as much as they can. So they basically have a backlog of episodes to play until it lines up with basically the Christmas break, and then after the Christmas break, Melissa can hopefully come back.
Yeah.
And then they can go from there.
Yeah, true. And that means Melissa, Supergirl's not going to be in the crossover this next year, or at least not that much.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. I mean, if she, let's think, let's do the maths. If she was pregnant, see, that's the thing. We don't know exactly when she was pregnant. We don't actually know when she actually, got the news.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to work out when 9 months would be. I mean, to be honest, 9 months would basically bring her up to the crossover. Well, actually, no, it wouldn't, because they'd film it before that.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. So it seems like she might actually not, be in it.
That's going to be strange then to explain, because she's part of the Justice League now. So
especially after Crisis with the Earth Prime stuff.
Exactly. So,
but they do have a lot more shows to play around with now. They do have Black Lightning they can use. They do have Batwoman now. They can. I imagine. Will Superman and Lois be premiered by then?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's premiering in the fall. I think.
So maybe what they'll do is they'll delay Supergirl to the back half, and then Superman and Lois will take its slot.
That's true. Actually, yeah, that's a good idea. Actually, I think that might actually happen.
Yeah, I could see them doing that.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
or like swap legends with it or something. I don't know.
All I know is I think what's gonna happen is that Supergirl's gonna have a shorter run of episodes, Probably similar to how probably similar a similar length to what Black Lightning has this season, 16 episodes. Probably something like that.
That'd be a nice length.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already gone down because it's on 20 this season.
Is it 20?
Yeah,
What?
which is what season 1 was.
Well, is it all of the shows or just Supergirl?
Yeah, I don't know about Flash, but I know that Supergirl's on 20 episodes.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, because I know they're pretty close to wrapping.
Well, anyway, let's return back to the Flash because we went way off topic there.
Big old tangent.
We went way off topic there. But yeah, so this episode we saw the return of fan favorite Wally West. How was the return of Wally West in this episode for you?
Amazing. I loved having Wally back. I was so excited for him to come back just because he's such a cool character and he's been so mistreated in the Arrowverse as a whole. Like, he was really badly treated on The Flash. And then he went to Legends, which he was great on Legends, but I think that for Keenan Lonsdale, it was just a little too late at that point, and he kind of just wanted to go. It was really nice to have him on Legends for that brief time, especially because everyone had been saying for years, get Wally on Legends.
Yeah.
But having him in this was great. Like, I loved his return because he really felt like he'd developed considerably, where he felt way more mature and grown up. He actually felt like he had quite a long journey since he left in season 4. And it really felt like he was a different character in that sense. Still Wally, but he still felt like, he had made some sort of development in his life. And I really liked that because it actually made him feel way more wise. Because in this episode, when he's kind of having a go at Barry, it made me laugh because Barry is supposed to be the experienced of the two. But I was watching Wally just going, Barry, listen to him. He knows what he's on about.
Yeah.
This guy, like, he can, like, sense the Speed Force now. And, like, when we saw him, when he first shows up in this episode, he was, like, making, like, they weren't time remnants, but he could, like, disperse himself, like, 7 different times. Like, Barry's never done that. And I was like, this guy knows what he's talking about. And my favourite thing about it is you have the scene where Wally and Barry are arguing, where it's kind of revealed to Wally that the reason that what's happening to the Speed Force was Barry's fault. And I love the fact that Wally is basically just full on going after Barry, arguing with him, saying, you could have called me, but you shoved me aside again. You cast me off again. Like, it's him just saying, it's basically him addressing directly what us, the fans, have been saying for years. It's just, you're just shoving Wally aside, not, bringing him in when you should do. He's a very valuable character, but you just cast him off. And I like the fact that he was basically addressing that directly to the character and basically to the writers. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I agree. I actually agree with everything you said. I feel like him coming into this episode, it shows that his presence was missing. Because I don't know, like when something felt different in this episode with him there. I can't put my finger on it, but something felt different in a good way. And yeah, like you said, he's grown as a character, even though it was off screen. But you can tell that he's wiser. He's more powerful now. He can do more things. So yeah, I'm interested. Hopefully, we get to see more of him. I don't think this season. I think he was only in for 1 episode this season. But hopefully, we can get to see him a little bit more next season, more than 1 episode. But yeah, I like Wally in this episode. I think he was the MVP of this episode. Of course, it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was the MVP, of course. Yeah. What was the reason why he had to leave again?
I think it was just. I don't think he had to leave. I think he just made the decision to leave because he just realized that as an actor, as a character, he's just getting completely underserved, and he was getting like opportunities elsewhere. Because I know he's obviously like he's an actor in other things. He's also an artist as well. Like I know like his music career was taking off and stuff like that. So I think he just sort of was looking at other opportunities elsewhere.
Okay. All right, fair play to Keenan. What was the reason in the show that he left? I can't remember.
He left literally. It's funny because he literally left because he said that he was just being completely ignored by the team. There's an episode in season 4 where I can't remember exactly what happens, but there's this big event where like it's like a big city, destroying event. I can't remember which episode it was, but it's in season 4 definitely. And they all come back after it all sort of wraps up, and they all show up, and they're all talking about it, and they're all just like, "Oh, Wally, there you are. What's going on?"
Wait,
none of you even noticed I was gone.
Oh yeah, I remember that. But
Yeah,
that,
literally,
but
like none of you have noticed I was gone. Like I could have been dead, and none of you were even noticing.
yeah, that's true. I remember that.
So that's when he went off
Yeah,
and went with the legends.
yeah, that's true. And then, and then the reason he left in this episode, what was it again?
But he said he's just gonna go back, didn't he? To
Oh, okay.
it was his time to sort of go.
Or well, that was just that's writer's language for sorry we can't get Keenan again this
We
season.
can't afford him anymore.
But yeah, anyway, overall, I think that this episode was very enjoyable. Um, do you think it was filler? Do you think?
Um, Depends really. I don't think we can sort of say that yet. I think it depends on what they do with Thorn.
True. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because this could be a really good setup episode for what they're doing with Thorn. But then if they do absolutely nothing with Thorn, and it's just like that's a complete waste, then yeah, it could feel like filler. But I mean, it was fun filler, and it was great having Wally back. So because
Yeah.
the thing is, with these Arrowverse shows, like once you've watched them for a couple of years, you start to understand that they're gonna have filler episodes just because how long they are.
Yeah,
So
true.
as long as it's fun filler, that's fine. If it's boring filler, then get it in the bin. But if it's fun filler, I'll take it.
True, true. One more thing about the Flash before we move on to other stuff. Where's Ralph? Like he hasn't
I've been
been on
thinking
this
about that.
season that much.
He hasn't been in the season. I think it's kind of interesting that he's supposed to have this big story this season. They introduced Sue Dearborn,
Yeah.
who's going to become Sue Dibny, and he had that episode with her. And since that, I don't think he's been in the show since that episode.
No, he hasn't. He actually hasn't. He hasn't been in it since that episode.
Yeah, so that's what 2 episodes,
Yeah.
3 episodes.
Yeah, that was not last week's episode, but I think the episode after that, I think.
Yeah, like that's a. I mean, he's a regular, so that's supposed to be because at least obviously like Cisco was gone for like 3 weeks, but they explained it at least. Whereas with this, they haven't actually explained where Ralph is. He's just not in the episode.
I think last week their excuse was that he's searching for Sue again.
I guess so, but it just feels strange that
Yeah.
he's not there.
Yeah, it feels strange. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Hartley's busy. I don't know, but yeah, it does feel strange that he's not in. I'm going to be interested to see if he's in next week's episode.
He has to be. Like, it would be weird that he's not. It would be weird. I don't know. Anyway, only time will tell. How has the CW shows been post Crisis?
All of them overall.
Yeah.
So obviously, I think Flash has just continued to be strong, which it was in the first half anyway.
Yeah.
I don't watch Black Lightning or Batwoman, so I'm exempt from that. Supergirl has improved a bit. I wouldn't say it's good, but it's okay. I did enjoy Supergirl the 2 episodes where we had Win.
Yeah,
Win coming back was
they were
fun
good.
for me. I really like Win as a character, so having him back, and that sort of like what was it called, Back from the Future Part 1, Part 2. I really enjoyed those episodes, and the 100th episode was fun. I guess. I mean, I did say I reviewed it. I said it wasn't particularly well executed. I still don't think it was. I think it was very lazy. But it was a fun episode. Again, like kind of like what I was just saying. It felt very fillery, but it was kind of fun filler. I just think the way they went about it was very lazy. So Supergirl's been okay. I think that they still have the saving grace on the show, which is John Cryer as Lex. I think he just does wonders for the show.
Yeah.
Having him there, and I just think Supergirl has a bit too much going on at the moment. I think it's kind of, and none of it is particularly interesting. And they're trying to force this new relationship for Kara, which just feels really odd. Even though I don't mind the relationship as much, it just like, as in the characters, it just feels so forced. So yeah, it's a weird one, Supergirl.
To be fair.
And in Legends.
Oh yeah.
Oh, go on.
I was gonna say, to be fair, Super Kara hasn't had a love interest for 2 seasons.
I mean, true, but I mean, I still kind of see in season 3 that she. I mean, yeah, it's true. It just feels weird because this character was like so different pre-Crisis, and then post-Crisis, it's like let's bang. But it's weird. I don't know. I like William, and I really like the actor who plays him, but he seems really likable to me. But I don't know. It just feels a bit strange to me. But I'm kind of one of the people who's online. Like everyone's freaking out about it. The caramel shippers are going mad, but I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. And then Legends, surprisingly, I went into Legends this season expecting to hate it. I'm actually enjoying Legends this season. I'm actually liking it, which surprises the hell out of me. I think it's because they have, to an extent, gone back to the sensibility they had in season 3, which was to write the story and then the jokes second. They actually have a story that I really like, which is bringing back sort of evil people from history, bringing them back from the dead. I think that's really fun. It's like a perfect concept for Legends, and it is still a little bit too silly for me at times, but I do enjoy it. But what I've managed to do is I've almost managed to detach it from the Arrowverse a little bit and kind of just keep it as its own separate thing. Although what I do like now, though, is in the most recent episodes, they are actually starting to explore an effect from Crisis, which is good, because I did think, Legends, because they weren't particularly involved in the crossover outside of Sarah and Ray.
Yeah.
And in the first episode, they do deal with a little bit, like Sarah isn't particularly great because of Oliver's death. But they don't do anything. There's no, post-crisis effects like we saw on Arrow and like we saw on The Flash, and even on Supergirl. But now they actually are starting to bring that in, so I'm happy with that. So yeah, I think Legends has actually improved quite a bit.
Yeah, but I still miss the version of Sarah we got in Crisis. I don't think it's the
Oh, I
same.
do as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the Sarah that I want to see in Legends. But
Yeah.
oh well, different writers, I guess.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So now that we talk about how has life post Crisis been on the CW, how has life been post Arrow?
It's been a dark, lonely place. I mean, I'm not gonna make any formal announcements here, but I have I have got an idea to kind of keep Arrow in my life
Keep
and
watching.
sort of
Keep.
on the channel. So I've got an idea which will hopefully sort of just keep Arrow in our lives.
Yeah.
At least coming from my channel. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, it does feel like something's missing from the Arrowverse. It feels like the heart and soul of the entire universe is gone.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange because it's always the one that would always keep me there. It's always the one I look forward to the most every week, and now it's just not there, which is really strange.
Yeah.
It just feels strange. It feels odd.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do miss it. I miss it more than anything.
Do you what I do? Like I've been doing this since Crisis. I've started watching season 1 again every week, one episode every week. So
Yeah.
Hey, well, have you done that?
I haven't done that, but I'm planning to do something similar. I'll tell you after we finish.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's basically what I do. I just because so that it just feels like okay, cool, it's finished, but you're still watching Arrow every week. So
It can never finish if you never truly finish it.
Exactly. And speaking of our final topic of the podcast today, will Green Arrow and the Canaries get picked up? Because it still has yet to get picked up. Do you think?
We won't know until May. Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't get announced in May by the upfronts, then it's not. But it's a difficult one. I mean, I think it purely depends on, because I was under the assumption that Beth Schwartz, who showrunned Arrow in 7 and 8, would be the showrunner. That was my assumption, but she has now become the showrunner of something else.
Okay.
And Googie, I don't even know what Googie's doing. I mean, he's been talking about it. People keep asking him questions. I see everyone tweets him every day saying what's going on, and he's apparently juggling a bunch of projects at the moment.
Okay.
Which isn't exactly new for him, but again, it's clearly something he's kind of keeping open, at least. It's something he's considering because he knows that he sort of knows that the announcement's coming, whether or not it's going to get picked up. I have to say, I don't think it's looking good.
Why not?
And if I had to make a solid prediction, gun to my head right now, if I had to make a prediction, I'm going to say no, it's not.
Why not?
But there is a chance. Again, we'll find out in May, but I don't think it will. but
And
it could.
and the thing is, if it doesn't, then that's gonna be very unfortunate because we wasted episode 9 of the final episode of the final season
I'm
of
going
Arrow.
to be so angry if
Yeah,
it doesn't.
if it because I would have rather had them spend episode 9 on something else to do with
Yeah.
Oliver than with a pilot that's not gonna air, that's not gonna get picked up.
Not just episode 9, like the entire season of season. Like everyone, I mean, I know I have the super controversial hot take. I didn't like season 8. I thought it was the worst season of Arrow.
Really? Wait. No. I didn't know you thought it was the worst season of Arrow. Wait, so you think season 8 is worse than season 4?
Check my ranking video. But
what? No. Let's not talk about anything else. No. We need to talk about this. Wait. Okay.
Super hot take, I know.
What? Arrow season 8 for me is my third favorite season of Arrow. My third favorite, behind season 2 and season 5.
Season 8 just frustrates me because it's not a season of Arrow. It just isn't.
But the episodes are so good. The episodes are so.
They might be good individually.
Yeah.
And they might be fun fan servicey episodes.
Yeah.
But they're not episodes of Arrow to me. The season 8 is so busy trying to. It's trying to do two things at once. It's trying to set up Crisis and it's trying to set up the spin-off. But what it's not trying to do is wrap up the show. And that's what annoyed me. There's so much potential in this season 8 that is completely squandered, and there's so many characters that just don't get focused. Like Diggle, Renee. Diggle's not as bad, but Renee and Dinah, where were they this season? They are characters who have been in the show since season 5 and deserved a true story wrap-up, but they don't. We end up focusing on Mia and William, two brand new characters who were just introduced, and if this spin-off doesn't go anywhere, completely pointless, completely superfluous. And that is my issue with season 8. Because at least season 4, say what you want about it, it's bad, but at least it felt like Arrow. This doesn't. This feels like some wacky, off-the-wall sci-fi show that ended in a ridiculous way that is completely indistinguishable from the show it's set out to be. Wow. That's why I don't like season 8. It annoyed me. Wow. So to bring that back to Green Arrow and the Canaries, if it doesn't get picked up, then I think that the sacrifice that I felt like I had to make for season 8 to be what it was is just completely pointless, and then I know deep down we could have had it a completely different way, in a way that would have been way more satisfying for me. I know that's just me. I know I'm in the complete minority, but that's how I feel.
Wow. I'm sorry you feel that way. That's all I can say. I'm sorry you feel that way. Because for me, season 8 was very good. Like,
and the thing is, don't get me wrong, like, I enjoyed season 8. Like, I enjoyed each episode as it came. Like, there were fun episodes. Like, especially, like, when it started, episode 1.
Yeah, episode 1 is in my top 10 episodes.
1 is amazing.
Yeah.
Episode 1's fantastic. Like, the first 3 episodes are alright. It's as soon as we get to 4. When you get to 4, the season goes downhill, because that is when they bring the kids into the present day, and it ruins it. Like, because at least the flash forwards kept it separate. I still don't like it, but at least they kept it, separate. As soon as they bring it into the present day, that's when they ruin it, because all the character development that we could have had with the other characters who were actually established characters on the show is completely squandered, because we have to focus on Mia, who is a bad character, who's poorly acted, who's poorly written, and it just annoys the living daylights out of me, like, to an insane degree. And I'm just like, especially someone like Diggle. Like, Diggle had a decent ending in the show overall, but the build-up to it, it's just non-existent. And I always bring up the point that in episode 5 of this season, the one where they go to Russia, and that's the episode where they have Roy in it. Roy, in that episode, has his storyline where he's trying to deal with some stuff, and he's accompanied by Diggle that entire storyline, that entire episode. And all the lines that Diggle is saying to kind of mentor Roy and to comfort him don't feel genuine, because they shouldn't be coming from Diggle. They should be coming from Oliver. Oliver was his teacher. Oliver was his mentor. Yeah. He should be the one saying those lines and giving that advice. But they can't do that because Oliver is elsewhere busy dealing with his annoying daughter. So they can't... And that feels wrong to me. That feels bad. Like, Oliver and Roy never had, in this season, really a proper recollection. Because after that, as soon as episode 5 wraps up, the only time we see Roy after that is in the final episode, after Oliver's already dead. And the fact that Oliver didn't die on his own show. I know technically he died in the Arrow episode of Crisis, but even though he didn't die on his own show, and the fact that Diggle wasn't there for his death, I think is insulting. Like, he dies as the Spectre, which, I mean, I think I've been through that before in the show, how ridiculous that was. I hate him becoming the Spectre. I think it's stupid. But I've got a complete tangent here, but I need to burn this fuel. Him going off, becoming the Spectre, is just ridiculous, and he dies, which I don't mind him dying with Barry and Sarah there, like, that doesn't really bother me as much, but it's the fact that Diggle's not there, and even in the final episode, when Sarah returns to Star City and she sees Diggle, and Diggle's like, he died twice, and I was there for neither of them. Like, even Diggle was annoyed, and that's what I'm just like, what's happened to the show? What's happened to it? My favourite show of all time, and it's just, this is how, like, I hate to be the guy who just craps on endings because it's so difficult to nail a series finale. It's so difficult. And I don't want to sound entitled, like, oh, well, this isn't what I wanted, but it isn't what I wanted. This isn't how I felt it was going to go down. And to me, I think that, you know, and Stephen Amell has even come out, he's confirmed this, he said this, obviously he was contracted to 7 seasons, and he believed at the end of season 7 that was going to be the end of the show. And it was only, I believe it was around midway through season 6 was when they signed him up to do season 8. But if you look at the ending of season 7, if you take out the bit with the monitor at the end, and it's him and Felicity, they go off, they retire, he has the child, and then he retires. Because if you look at the season 7 finale, that feels like a series finale.
I see what you mean.
And to me, in my head, that is what I envision was the series finale. Until they wanted to do Crisis. And they moved Crisis forward because we all know Crisis was meant to happen in 2024. But they moved it forward to 2019 because they wanted to tie it in with the end of Arrow. So they forced out another season of Arrow. They didn't make it about Arrow. And it just feels wasted because of it.
Fair.
Rant over. I've been on about it for ages.
Well, thank you for your very, very deep analysis of that.
No worries, I'm here all week.
Okay, so
if anybody just wants to talk to me on Twitter about it, I'm always there.
Well, I'm sure people will have opinions if they hear this and follow you onto it, I'm sure.
Just go to the comment section of my ranking video.
Okay, yeah, I'll actually do that after this video. I will see. But yeah, anyway, that pretty much wraps up the CW podcast this week. We hopefully will return next week, unless I go on another 6-month hiatus.
But another break and never come back.
Nah, I'm sure we'll be back next week. But yeah, thanks Declan for coming on this week. Hopefully we'll see you next week. And yeah, what do you guys think of any of the topics we discussed in this week? Who do you think will be the big bad for The Flash season 6? Would it be Red Death, Reverse Flash, Godspeed, the new Mirror Master? Who do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. And also, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, share the video with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys later for more videos.